What if the single greatest threat to your food security isn't a drought, a supply chain collapse, or a failed harvest, but the fact that you've never been taught what to grow in the first place? Most people think a survival garden means a few tomato plants and some lettuce. They're wrong. A real survival garden, one that could carry you through weeks, months, or even a full year without a single grocery run, looks completely different. And in this video, you'll see exactly what it takes to build one. In the next 10 minutes, you'll discover more than 10 crops that can form the backbone of a self-sufficient food system. Plants that provide calories, protein, and dense nutrition, many of which you can plant once and harvest for years, or even decades to come. These aren't exotic experiments. Billions of people around the world have relied on these exact plants for their very survival. But somewhere along the way, that knowledge was quietly replaced by supermarket shelves and convenience food. If you stay with us until the end, you'll understand not just what to grow, but why these specific plants were almost engineered by nature itself to keep humans alive. For thousands of years, civilizations across the tropics, the Americas, and Asia didn't depend on grocery stores. They depended on the land, specifically on a handful of extraordinary plants that required almost no inputs and returned extraordinary yields. The ancient Maya cultivated plants like chaya, tree spinach, as a dietary cornerstone for thousands of years. Indigenous communities across the Pacific and Caribbean built their food systems around tubers that could be planted once, largely ignored, and harvested months later. Nearly 1 billion people alive today still depend on crops like cassava for their daily calories. The yam has fed entire continents. Moringa, known across cultures as the tree of life, has sustained communities in some of the world's harshest environments. Yet in the modern Western world, this knowledge was quietly left behind. The rise of industrial agriculture made it easy to forget that the most powerful food security system ever devised wasn't a supply chain. It was a backyard. What follows are the core plants of a true survival garden. Many are perennials. Most are drought tolerant. All of them can change the way you think about food. The foundation of any survival garden starts with calories, the energy your body needs to function. These 4 crops are among the most calorie-dense plants you can grow. Sweet potatoes are the first essential. Both the tubers and the leaves are edible, making them a dual-purpose powerhouse. They thrive with minimal care, produce abundantly in a relatively small space, and come in dozens of varieties far beyond the familiar orange type at the supermarket. With a standard front yard, it is realistically possible to grow a significant portion of your annual calorie needs from tubers alone. Sweet potatoes being a key part of that equation. Cassava, also called yuca and the source of tapioca, is arguably the world's most important survival food. It contains approximately 160 calories per 100 grams in its raw form, making it one of the most calorie-dense root vegetables available, and nearly 1 billion people in over 100 countries depend on it as a dietary staple. You plant it not from seed, but from a cutting, a simple branch stuck into the ground. Come back 12 months later and a single plant can yield anywhere from 5 to 20 pounds of starchy tubers. The leaves are also edible when properly cooked. Note, both cassava and its leaves must always be cooked thoroughly to neutralize naturally occurring compounds. Yams, specifically large-fruited varieties like Dioscorea alata, represent one of the most staggering examples of caloric abundance in the plant world. Individual specimens can grow to remarkable sizes, and the vines can be trained along fences to create a living perimeter of calories that largely takes care of itself. Potatoes round out the calorie crops. More suited to cooler climates, they remain one of the most proven survival staples in human history. Beyond calories, a survival garden needs volume, crops that produce continuously and abundantly over seasons. Bananas and plantains are the definitive example. A single pup, a small offset plant, purchased for a few dollars or obtained for free from a neighbor, can grow into a producing stand in a warm climate. Bananas can be eaten ripe as a sweet fruit or green when they function more like a starchy vegetable, fried, boiled, or dried, and ground into flour. Plantains follow the same logic, ripe for sweetness, green for savory cooking. The yield from a mature stand can reach hundreds of pounds per year. Papaya is another abundance crop, These fast-growing, soft-wooded trees begin producing fruit within months and continue for years. The fruit can be eaten ripe as a sweet orange flesh or harvested green and used as a vegetable, raw in salads, fermented into a tangy kraut, or cooked in curries. In cooler climates, zucchini serves a similar function, extraordinarily prolific, filling, and versatile. The Seminole pumpkin, or any locally adapted squash variety, is the survival gardener's secret weapon. A single seed from 2 pumpkins can realistically produce hundreds of fruits across a season. Whatever squash thrives in your region, it deserves a place in your garden. For protein, pigeon peas stand apart. Unlike most legumes, this is a perennial shrub. Plant it once and it produces multiple crops per year, year after year. The peas, known as gandules in Caribbean cooking, can be eaten fresh or dried and stored for years. Southern peas, including black-eyed peas, serve a similar role. High-yielding, nitrogen-fixing ground cover legumes that produce abundantly fresh or dried. Calories and protein keep you alive. These plants keep you well. Moringa, known across cultures as the tree of life, is one of the most nutrient-dense plants documented. It can be grown from seed or cutting, thrives with little water, and produces edible leaves year-round in warm climates. Dried and powdered moringa leaves become a concentrated nutritional supplement you can store, travel with, or trade. Chaya, tree spinach, has been consumed for thousands of years in Mesoamerica. It is rich in nutrients, grows aggressively from cuttings, and is drought-tolerant to a remarkable degree. Like cassava, its leaves must be cooked before eating. Perennial spinaches, including Malabar spinach, Okinawa spinach, longevity spinach, and several others, round out the green category. Plant once, harvest continuously. For medicine, turmeric and ginger are the non-negotiables. Both grow from rhizomes, both thrive with modest care, and both have well-documented anti-inflammatory and immune-supporting properties. Elderberry, combined with honey from backyard bees, produces a syrup that has been used for generations to support respiratory health. For flavor, the garden becomes a kitchen. Peppers in every climate. Cuban oregano and African blue basil as perennial herbs. Daikon radish as a fast-growing fermentation crop. Everglades tomatoes for hot climates. Standard tomatoes for northern gardens. And garlic or garlic chives as perennial antimicrobials. Here is a question worth sitting with. If these plants are this productive, this resilient, this nutritious, why doesn't anyone teach this? The answer is uncomfortable. A food system built on perennial plants you grow yourself, preserve yourself, and save seed from yourself generates almost no commercial revenue. You can't patent a sweet potato cutting or a cassava stick. You can't sell someone a bag of fertilizer for a moringa tree that thrives in poor soil. You can't charge subscription fees for a pigeon pea shrub that produces without input year after year. Industrial food, with its hybrid seeds, branded inputs, and refrigerated distribution networks, is an enormously profitable system. And systems that are enormously profitable have no incentive to publicize alternatives. This isn't a conspiracy. It's simply the logic of commerce applied to something that shouldn't be commercial. Your ability to feed yourself. The knowledge covered in this video didn't disappear because it stopped working. It was deprioritized because it works too well and too independently. Every perennial you plant is a small act of reclaiming that independence. Every pound of dried pigeon peas in your pantry is a hedge against a system that assumes your dependence. Every stand of cassava or bananas growing along your fence line is a statement that your food security does not require anyone else's permission. Pick one plant from this list, just one. Get a cutting, a pup, a handful of seeds, whatever you can find. Put it in the ground this week. In 12 months, that single decision could be feeding you. The plants don't need the grocery store. They don't need the supply chain. They don't need permission. Neither do you.